Welcome to my channel. Maybe this is the first time you're visiting my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will be notified of a new video release that we have every time. And thank you for those who are returning back on the channel. I'm going to share a story with you, a real heart-touching story, a story that will really open up your minds. And I want you to stay tuned now. There were two scientists traveling on a plane in the United States. One was a bit younger and the other one was slightly older. So the older gentleman was reading a little book and the younger one was obviously looking into the magazines and he was running through the newspapers. So he asked the older gentleman, he said, "Hi, what do you do?" And the older gentleman replied back and told him, he said, "Well, I'm reading a Bible." The younger gentleman said, No, I didn't mean asking what are you reading, I'm asking what do you do?" The older gentleman replied and said, "I am a scientist." The younger gentleman said, "Wow, that's great, because I am a scientist too. And well, that's wonderful, so that we can be talking on common grounds by the time we finish this 1-hour flight." Young scientist asked the older gentleman, "What are you reading, did you say?" And he said, the older gentleman replied, "I'm reading a Bible." The young scientist said, "Boy, do you have any sense? We are living in a scientific age with so much of development and technology. We're advancing, and you being a scientist and being a senior guy, being a senior scientist, you're reading a Bible? Which means, don't tell me you believe in an unseen, unknown God. If we, as scientists and experts, sit down reading these books, what will happen to the world and the people? I think it's time we need to grow up. I think it's time you got to grow your brains and become more realistic in life." The older gentleman was quiet. He didn't say a word, continued reading his Bible. When it was time to land, the young scientist looked towards the other gentleman and said, "Well, I introduced myself to you, I spoke to you. This is my card." So the old gentleman picks the card, looks at it and says, "Okay." And then the young gentleman says, "Well, I have given you my card, it's time I can ask for your card. So can I have your card, please?" The old scientist removes the card, gives it to the young man. When the young guy looks at the card, he reads the name Thomas A. Edison, and he goes bonked. He's shocked. He's stunned, astonished. So he said, "Sir, are you the Thomas Alva Edison?" And then the old gentleman replies and says, "Well, yes, my name is Thomas Edison." The young scientist was shocked and he said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Please don't feel offended. Whatever I said, but I never knew who you were. Forget you meeting me. Forget my card. Please, can I have an opportunity to see you for a little time? Whatever time you tell me, I'll be there. But I want an appointment with you. I want to sit and talk to you." Thomas tells him, "Fine, that's okay. Whatever you said, that's fine, no problem. Come tomorrow morning. The address is on my card. Come and meet me in my lab." Now this wonderful young scientist, all excited to go and meet Thomas Edison the next day morning, reaches well on time. He walks to the reception and then tells the lady at the reception that he's here to meet Thomas Edison. The lady guides him to the hallway, and when he walks to the hallway, he sees a beautiful, huge solar system model that's being created. It's right there. The most amazing piece of work that he has ever seen. A solar system that was made and kept right in the middle of the hallway. And he looks at Thomas Edison, who's standing right there, and he says, "Sir, this is amazing. Who made this model? How long did it take? And where did you get the products and the materials to make this solar system model? How did this happen? How did you make this? How many people were involved in this?" This is amazing. I've never seen a created model, a solar system model that looks so realistic. Edison replied, I never made it. He said, I never made it. One day, when I came to my lab and I opened the door, I saw this solar system model right there in front of me, just as much as you're seeing it right there in front of you. The young scientist, when he heard this, said to Thomas, he said, Sir, I'm sorry if whatever I said on the plane yesterday offended you, but please don't joke with me. I request you to tell me, how did you make this? I really want to know how you made this. Edison replied, trust me, I never made it. One day, when I opened the door of my lab, this model was right there in front of me when I saw it. The young scientist replied, Sir, I'm pleading and requesting and asking you once more, please tell me, how did you make this? Edison replied and said, well, you call yourself a scientist, and then you say suddenly one day the universe was created by itself. The universe came into existence by itself. If the universe could pop up by itself, then why not this little solar model? Pin drop silence in that room. The young scientist realized what he never realized all his life. Remember, if there is a creation, there has to be a creator. Without a creator, there is no creation. In today's world, we find most of the answers to most of the questions through a very simple, easy platform, Google. And thanks to Google, it answers almost every question that you can ask. When I searched about a question yesterday on Google, I wanted to know how many organs are there in a human body. So the first article that pops up right on top is Wikipedia. Now, this is what Wikipedia states. It says, it is believed that there are 100 organs. However, there is no universally standard definition of what constitutes an organ. Since there is no single standard definition of what an organ is, the number of organs will vary depending on how one defines an organ. Now, to simple understanding, it means there is no exact count till date. No one knows till date exactly how many organs are there in every living body on this earth. How can there be an exact count? How can there even be an exact count? Because we didn't create it. You will know your creation well only when you create it. Who the creator is can be determined with the end results of the creation. We were created with only one intention, and that was to be happy and joyful, blessed and grateful. But we chose another option. We chose to remain ungrateful, unhappy and dissatisfied with all that we have. We decided to handle everything by ourselves. We became so independent that we forgot our source. All the mess that we have in our lives right now is our own creation, our imperfect creations. We became over smart that we forgot what being smart is. We became fearless, believing that we are in complete control of our life and all that surrounds it. And today we live filled with fear. We became so overconfident about our decisions. With the results today, we are even struggling to become confident. I think it's time for us to realize that we are just the creation and not the creator. We can never become creators. How do you shower? Of course, using a shower. How does the water get into the shower? Of course, from the water tank placed above the building. And how do you fill the water tank which is placed above the building? Of course, using a motor water pump. A motor water pump pumps water from the ground, takes it right up to the tank up which is placed above, and then pumps the water, allows the water to flow through the shower. Who then fills a coconut with water 20 feet up on that tree? Have you ever wondered? How does a coconut get so much of water inside? 20 feet above the ground. Now that's called technology, isn't it? A green chili, a sugar cane, and a bitter gourd grows in the same sand. And how come they have 3 different tastes being next to each other in the same ground? That's called technology. Have you ever heard of a lychee growing on a mango tree or an apple growing on a coconut tree? No, you'll never hear that, because that's called perfect creation. Will any part of your body obey you? If you ask your nails to stop growing, will it listen to you? No. If you ask your hair to stop turning gray, will it listen to you? No. Can you guarantee the functioning of any organ in your body? No. Do you even know what's going to happen the next minute? Forget the next hour or day or month. Do you know what's going to happen with you? No. If our own body doesn't obey us, then what's the relationship we have with our bodies? Do we own them? Because if we did, they would obey us. But the bitter truth is that we don't own them. That's why they don't listen to us. We are on rental basis. The owner is the creator called God, and we are just but tourists on a journey called life. So learn to live well and make sure you keep the body clean to avoid penalties when it's time to return it back. God bless.